Remember when Jean had knockers? Yeah, let's talk about that. Hello you beautiful people and welcome back to another video. If you watched my other more recent character design videos about the redesigned skins for Genshin Impact, then you know what's coming. Earlier this year, four skins were released for... Earlier this year, 4 skins were released for the characters for Zarya, Jean, Amber, and Mona. Put it in short and simple terms, the skins were added because the Chinese government wants female video game characters to cover up. So MiHoYo is remodeling these characters in the Chinese client so they can stay within the restrictions of their government. Since the remodels are not transferring over to the global client, MiHoYo instead added them in as skins for the characters in the game. But how good are these skins? Are they better designed than the original designs of the characters? Let's discuss. For today we have our Dandelion Knight, Jean. But before we get into the discussion at hand, I have a few things to say. First, I would like to hear what you guys think about both Jean's design and her skin in the comments below. Which do you think is better? Are you using the new skin over the old one? Any other thoughts? Leave them down below as I would love to read them. And if you do end up enjoying the video, please hit the like button down below and maybe consider subscribing as well, as it helps me out a whole lot and costs you guys nothing. Last thing, I promise, it's a disclaimer. This video is opinionated. This video is not to insult, bastardize, or ridicule anyone's tastes or even HoYoverses themselves. I wish no ill will on anyone believing opposite me or anyone involved in designing the characters. Character design is a very subjective topic in and of itself and should be discussed as such. Nothing I say or believe should be taken as fact. This video is purely for information and to discuss this particular topic and for others to participate. Now with that out of the way, let's hop right in. Jean is the shield and peacekeeper of Mondstadt. This role of hers seems to not have just been something she strived for, but instead it seems to have rather been fate. She comes from the oldest clan in Mondstadt, the Gunhildr clan, known for their motto, or Mondstadt as always. Jean has lived by this motto for her entire life, regretting none of her decisions she made for the sake of her family motto. She would do anything for the people of Mondstadt and has shown it. From helping a cat out of a tree to settling a quarrel down in the market, Jean is no stranger to keeping the peace inside the city of Mondstadt. She earned the title of Dandelion Knight at the age of 15. Upon this achievement, Jean had begun to doubt herself. Being the symbol of Vanessa's resistance and benevolence, the title of Dandelion Knight became a lot for just one young girl to hold all on her own. Could she really live up to the same title that the slave liberator Vanessa, her childhood hero, once held? The gentle breeze would carry away her worries most days, but one fateful day, upon thinking these thoughts, it granted her a vision in its place. Since then, much changed after multiple promotions, but her resolve and will have not. Earning the title of acting Grandmaster after Grandmaster Varka left on an expedition, she believes that she herself needs to be reliable, stable, and always there for the city of Mondstadt. This position in ideology is anything but foreign to her. Despite Varka's position as Grandmaster, his relaxed demeanor had him not take his job as seriously as Jean would have liked. As the Knight of Conquests and New Frontiers, Varka took little interest in his tasks, which, more often than not, would end up on Jean's plate instead. When Varka left, she had already become accustomed to the job due to his focus on more important matters. As the now acting Grandmaster in replace of Varka, Jean had one goal in mind. Jean decides to take much more of a reactive role rather than a proactive one while being the aegis of her hometown, as she finds that to be the harder role, stating protecting has always been a tougher task than destroying. She takes this stance even with the looming threat of the Abyss, and still, during the Storm Terror threat to the city she swore to defend. She desires nothing more than to protect Mondstadt as its shield, so when Varka comes back, he will be shown a kinder and more peaceful home. That's basically the story of Jean. She is a stable defender who works 24/7 to protect the city she loves. Most of the time she is constantly doing the busy work for the people rather than partaking in the normal nightly duties that she passes on to her subordinates. She is a leader and an efficient one at that. This is all shown in her completely solid design. Her entire outfit shouts proper at the top of its lungs. From the decorative collar, her stylish tailcoat, her shoulder cape, the gold adornments on her, and those freaking heels though. Her blue shoulder cape and tailcoat both are also of similar style and color to military leaders back in the day, like Napoleon Bonaparte, but with a femme twist. Her creation might have just been inspired by the real person Jeanne d'Arc, or as you might know her more as, Joan of Arc. Joan was also a militarist and a hero who fought for her country's freedom, similar to Jean's element, which is also absorbed in freedom. However, Joan is sadly more known for her death by being burned at the stake, so keep that in mind the next time you want to try out a Sunfire comp you hear. Travel aside, the femme twist is also incredibly important to her as a character, as her modern struggles are all feminine in nature. She yearns for love like the ones in romance novels, and she struggles with connecting with her younger sister in any actual meaningful or emotional way, making the femme aspects of her design much deserved. She also likes to surround herself with women like Eula, Lisa, and Amber, one of which being a very trusted and good friend to her. By contrast, the men in her life consist of Varka, who is absent from Mondstadt, Diluc, who wants nothing to do with the Knights of Favonius and fights on his own terms, and Kaya, who might not even be an actual human and is one of the more androgynous looking characters in the game. At least he would be if he didn't have his pecs out to show the whole world, but I digress. In any case, her entire life is wrapped with inherently feminine components, which bleed into her design. Her design is just caked in feminine qualities, from the ponytail, heels, and tight leggings, down to the red markings on her waist, which help emphasize an hourglass figure on her. The feminine military twist is quite an interesting one that I rather like, especially due to its ceremonial implications. As you might have gathered from the small lore recap from before, Jean's design is reminiscent of the European military, specifically the French and Russian military in the 1800s. The style for the uniform seems to be most similar to the infantry uniform of the French Imperial Guard, an outfit that Napoleon also liked to wear instead of his own dignified uniforms. The fact that she would wear something so much simpler is an indicator that Jean feels much more at place with the common folk rather than at higher statuses. However, in the game, the Mondstadt Guard wears, well, to put it simply, cheap knockoffs of anything you can actually call armor. It comes down to a breastplate that would redirect a sword thrust right into their intestines or neck and jaw, small pauldrons that will help sever an arm, and flimsy wrist guards for a knife fight or something. However, Jean wears no armor whatsoever, and what she does wear looks unrelated to the guard's attire. The former part is generally the design philosophy of designing clothing for military ranks in media. Less armor and more ceremonial as you go up the ranks, which leads me to believe that Jean does not see herself as part of the common folk, instead being 100% part of her own role. The ceremonial aspect is also present in Jean's sleek design too, with the gold adorning the outfit to almost an absurd degree, and the clean white color that makes up most of the design. The outfit really shows her status in Mondstadt and how she does not get her hands dirty. She does not take an active role in combating any threat, instead choosing to act reactively when an enemy knocks on her front door, and in those cases, she delegates the responsibility to Eula to handle most of it, along with the rest of the guard. She instead uses her time to act more like a mother to Mondstadt, as she runs around the city with the purpose of tidying up anything that becomes undone, and handling paperwork. She sees her own reactiveness as her own self being a shield to Mondstadt, but that can be debated. The same goes for it being represented in her design at all, as she does not appear to have any resemblance to a bulwark of her own. Normally, the defender archetype of character design would have them clad in armor from head to toe, or with huge stocky frame. However, this is not a suitable way to represent Jean, since it is inherently a masculine design for characters, while she is completely feminine. There is also the issue with it being unfeasible due to Hoyoverse's limitations of the game, with the limited body types and market for appeal, though there is no way at all that Jean could be made into such a tank, as it does more harm than good. However, there are ways to make a character look more like a defender while still staying within the limitations the company provides. I have a few specific ideas in mind for this instance. They could give her more armor, give her pauldrons, or broaden her shoulders some other way, and or give her an armored skirt. Obviously, more armor always helps with making a character look more like a tank, but this would also make her look more like her soldiers, which would make her feel more on level with them. This might not be the way they would want to go with her, and I don't agree with this change because it would lessen her more upper class clean identity, but I do think that this would be an all-around good change. They could put the armor anywhere from giving her boots armor to just elbow and knee guard to pauldrons on her shoulders, and even a metal armored skirt, which is actually used in a lot of real life and fantasy armor sets. The skirt can be of varying lengths and radii, but it would also make her feel more feminine because, you know, skirt. There are many different depictions of women wearing these metal skirts in media today too, so Hoyoverse will be able to decide whether they would like to go for a more practical or aesthetic look for it, if they would like to add one at all. However, another issue that comes with putting armor on Jean is that it would make her less easy to talk to, as she would appear more threatening. This would undermine the intention that was already put into her personality, so less armor I think is better. I would also like to see them broaden her shoulders some more to give her a bit more of a stocky frame without getting rid of that feminine side. A good way to do this would be by giving her shoulder pads, similar to the ones that women used to wear in the 80s when a lot more office jobs were open to them. They came into fashion because of the need for women to feel more accepted in office environments, as they would seem more like the broad-shouldered men who originally worked in the office. This feature would also represent a way that she feels about Varka and her position under him, while making her look a bit stockier and broad as well. Two birds with one stone. They could also use epaulets on her shoulders for a similar function, while also letting her own the militaristic look some more. Now, since we talked about her original design, let's talk about her redesign. The main difference between Jean's old model and the new one is that they took her cleavage away. Oh no! Her titties are gone. Does this add or remove any value to anything stated before? No, I don't think so. I think it changes very little. If anything, the new one does up the ante on both the upper class and feminine aspect of her design. This is through the button-up she has pasted onto her chest now. Other than that, nothing else has been meaningfully changed. The skin adds very little and not in any areas where I believed it lacked, so I don't think it is very far from the original design in style. They didn't even give her an actual shirt yet too, so you're in luck, armpit guys. Y'all are winning this year. That being said, Jean's design is very good and very solid. It represents her extremely well, almost to perfection within its limitations. However, there are issues I do see with the design that I think could definitely be improved. The fact that she doesn't embody anything related to a shield, which is one of her main symbols, is an issue in her design. I don't even think much needs to be changed in order to make it better in this aspect either, since it is so great even without it. This feature, I believe, could also be explained away in many ways, or could be reasons that her more mothered look is the reason for it, but I still think shield should be portrayed on her. That being said, I will put Jean up in the A tier, as there is little I both would and could change with her design. I think she is fine as is, and I am happy with her. What do you guys think about Jean? Do you disagree? Did I miss something? Do you also think it's weird that Jean has more relations with France than with the Germanic city she is from? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. And if you did like the video, I would appreciate it if you showed me by hitting that like button down below, and maybe that subscribe button as well. But that's all from me for today. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye bye.